Hi, this is Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, and I'm going to just ramble for a little bit. I deserve it, and so do you. So, here we go. I'm not going to come to you as Magartha, and I'm not going to come to you as Grandma or Mama. I'm not going to come to you as what comes to me sometimes that is very almost hard to get the language out. With tremendous pauses. It just felt like universes were for moments, for long pauses through that night. But I need to I need to talk about this as a human being to you, because Melissa brought me, and I just discussed it, preface of it, the concept of permission. This has been my prime directive. Under very, very unusual circumstances, will I share any of what you've seen in the last 3 weeks. Up until about 2012, and then it began to be more comfortable. It began to be more safe. Up until then, I think I was wound up tighter than a, what is that called? Wind up tighter than a Woolworth's watch or something. You just go break everything because it's so tight. It was clamped down on that crap, no matter what, And what better way to keep me occupied in the meantime than feed me koans? Why not? Why not? So, as a result, good, all the better. And we'll be sharing more of the scientific stuff. I've gone really far, and I'm not going to have a problem languaging it, but I need to study, and I need to reflect. Further, I want very much to reveal my coding, the things that came to me, and you've seen a lot of it. You have. There are hints all over the place. But what I now know is it's a little boggling. And so I need to go to someone who's wide open and doesn't have a lot of coding, and whose DNA is working better than most. And so I'm going to be petitioning Enrique Boron to review what I have been aware of, and the dates and the times and the references and all of it. The memories, and then the correlating realities. This is what Crine was talking about, of these people who are obsessed. They're not really sure what's theirs and what's not theirs, what's from the past, what's from the future, and what's from now, what really matters in this moment. And I've always been like that. And so what he referred to this as a fully entangled Akash. And I understand myself to be entangled with a consciousness group. And I've dropped hints all over the place. It's not very hard to figure out. And that's why I had such an obvious code cracker available to me. It was really like grade school. It's like, literally, I sat there and laughed. But at the same time, I was completely peaceful. And I want to reveal that because it's really important to me. But I know that I don't have to, that it rides with me, and it rides in, what would you say, plain sight. It's fairly obvious, really. You just have to be looking. So anyway, there's that. And then what I really wanted to do is just have a chance to meditate verbally on the concept of permission, explaining to you that I don't know if it was before or after, Melissa, the healing we did, but it was after. No, it was before. I couldn't have done the healing unless I'd done that reveal. I sat on Melissa's couch and I had a singular event occur. We were standing in the kitchen by the island. And we'd done some stuff. I don't know, maybe it was after I don't know. I can't remember. Melissa's going to have to help me with the timing. Because as I recall it, I'm not really sure if we could have done the ceremony if I hadn't done the reveal first. But that's just my intuitive hit. Who knows? It's all a mishmash. But I sat on her couch and did something that I have never done in my life. First of all, I didn't have all the data until just recently. Everything just kept clanging and clanging and clanging and clanging. And Melissa kept talking about it. It's just like the tumblers falling in place. So we would have these singular events occur, and these things that we just both knew. They were just so obvious. Like, okay, now we're gonna do this, and blah blah blah. And she's totally not into ritual, but Gaia is, so we had to do it. It's just not her bag, and I was really glad that she just let me, be the maestro of the words, blah blah, blah, do my thing, and but yeah, I want to tell you what we did, and I want to do that to start off. I reference it in the video that you can rest assured that everyone on this planet is resting in golden arms of love tonight. Angels' arms. And those angels' arms belong to you. Something bigger than you loves you so tremendously that they give you the gift of discovering it yourself. If you have a kid, you know what it's like. You want to tell them everything. You gotta get them so that they can anticipate everything and stay safe, right? Then you get to a certain point and realize, this is a smart kid, and somehow he's figured out how to stay safe. Somehow he has stability within his character. So do I really need to spend a lot of time explaining to him about intimate relationships and how to manage himself? Do I really need to explain to him the dangers and the benefits of driving? Do I really need to explain to him what's going to happen to him, sort of the series of events that is sort of the normal variant? There's many variants, but, normal ebb and flow. No. Why would I not want to do that? Why would I leave him in amnesia, basically? Why would I allow his awareness to remain a lid on it? Why wouldn't I go around exposing to him these great joys he's going to be experiencing, so he can look forward to something and he can have hope when it gets dark? Why would I not want to do that for my own son? Well, I don't know about you, but I really am beginning to feel, especially with my boy, that it's not appropriate for me to. It would be like stealing his joy. It would be like, I don't know, somehow, have you met people who live vicariously through their children's accomplishments and somehow use that to say, see, I did okay? I mean, I came from an archetypal family, and I'll tell you, that was played out, in bold and capital letters around me. I saw that. And the one who didn't want to follow the drumbeat of what was best. Boy. Hard road. And that was very okay for everybody. But I witnessed it and I saw. Not okay. That's what happens when you step out of the line. Once we step out of the box, hard rain, hard rain, hard rain. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So it was, it was a little gift, which it was a neutral event, and I coded it that way because I needed to. I needed another admonition. Don't open your mouth. So the thing is that I sat on that couch, and I'm going to tell you about the ceremony. I keep going back to the couch. How could it have happened had I not spoken the truth? If I did this ceremony prior to speaking my truth, then I am forever fused and obedient and cooperative. Obedient like the kind of obedience you have for a guru who has never once led you down the garden path, who has never once said, you've got to do this. Not once. That's a guru. That's someone who knows more than you and is behaving more maturely. And it's only a child who would say, well, he doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything. Because that's all you can see. And all of this radiance is just, it's like, yeah, well, I got my own glasses on. I can see all I can see is me. You're nothing special. So I think that's what I was experiencing to some degree. Before, not now. Not now, obviously. But this has been it's led to pain, and it's led to a lot of stuff of just, no. But I saw it in the video that Mel and I did. I would lurch. And I could feel that, like, about, I'd say 3 feet. Like, it from my heart, from my guts, I could feel the lurch, but it went out, then went back and out. It was very intense. And I relived a scene that I actually was instrumental in my waking up. And, wow, I saw I was having trouble breathing. And they have made it very plain. There are just certain things that vibrationally I'm not going to be able to do. Just, be cool with it. But it's just not compatible anymore. And then I see that video and think, yeah, well, yeah, you ain't kidding. So the thing is that, well, I'll tell you about this ceremony. And maybe that will explain the thing is. So, appreciate that you have 2 women doing this who recognize themselves as fond friends from a really long time ago, who have nothing but love to offer anyone. And anyone who thinks differently is welcome to. I think our lives stand as living testaments to the truth of it. But that's just me. And there came a time when we needed to, it was after, we needed to anchor it. And what I understood we needed to do was she and I were going to create a portal. We were going to create the 13th set of null and nodes. And I'm not really sure. I sense that they're spinning together. That this is an anomaly, and it is not to be released for a while. But it's our gift, and it contains the mother's love. But more profound, I realized that, doggies, I was always told by the teachers, okay, dogs are here to mirror unconditional love for us, to remind us of home, of the 6th and higher. Unconditional love. So I was driving up to Loveland, an apt place to be spending time. And I was asked, so who is there a group of persons who also are biologically coded to hold and express that love? That kind of love, the unconditional kind. Who else? It's just a slam dunk. It's there. It may not be with your lover. It may not be with your boyfriend. It may not be with your whatever. But put a label on it. The one who's supposed to love you through thick and thin and all that shit. It may not be that person. So it may not be your kid, even. Or you may not realize it's your kid. It may not be. There's a lot of unconditional love running around. Come on. But who do we go to? Who do we just celebrate? Who do we go to when the chips are down and it's a matter of survival? And who do we spend years healing primal wounds if the pain was inflicted by her? Who would that be? Would that be Mom? And I'm not saying that there aren't imperfect mothers. I'm certainly one of them. And I try to hold unconditional love. And I know that things get really muddy. But I know that vibration. And I sing with it. I am realized in it. And I'm whole in it. Cran has referenced this twice. Once about a battlefield and once about biological, whatever, imperative or whatever. Who better to signal to Earth itself that there are now two, at least, fully embodied individuals. Who? So we had some things to do. And I set up a ceremony because I needed to. Energetically, this arm, my left, has been running poorly. There's a snag somewhere. And I appreciate it's back here. Melissa's telling me that she's got a right arm problem, and she understands that her issue's right here. So we completed a circuit. We held hands, our non-affected sides. And our affected sides held old palm fronds that were not green. Well, they were kind of, but not really. And we stood, understanding everything. It was after. After savoring it and thinking on it, smoking on it. So I stood there understanding that I had not only put the pieces together for myself, but I had done it in front of someone who, when I told her, I was expecting, her hair to go, and then for her body to go, and then there'd just be this little line of ash. I used to read about spontaneous combustion a lot, and their shoes would be there. Really, honest to God, okay? I thought I had that much power. Wrong. So I told her this, story. And I told her everything. Well, almost everything. I never tell anyone everything. And I asked her, how do you feel? What's it like for you? Her answer was, yeah, well, you pretty much told me all that already. I mean, it's nice that you put it together for yourself, but, yeah. And I've known for a long time, X, Y, and Z. So, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's great. And that was, I couldn't have gotten a better response. That was something that I had never done in my life. Probably had never done it in many many lifetimes. I was letting go of a lot of baggage, baby. No wonder I had a visual of 2 suitcases, and as I was driving out, and they were at either side of the driveway. It's okay. Well, all my problems are there, all my burdens, they're cool, and they're sitting there. But oh no, I'm gonna leave, and Melissa's not gonna even give a crap. She's not gonna come down here and clean this up. She's not gonna transmute it. She's just gonna ignore it because it doesn't matter anymore. So nobody's gonna take my crap away. It's gonna sit there and putrefy. So I don't know if I changed into butterflies or what I did, but it was just understood that, okay, done. So great. And it's really astounding. So that's what I'm thinking, wow, permission. Wait a minute. I'm human and I'm saying it's okay. And last time I checked, all they could say is that I'm sovereign. So it's up to me and my judgment. And if my judgment is bad at this point, if it's not state of the art, then guess what's going to happen? I will not be able to post it. The sound will be funny, or or the internet will go down, and I'll be hypersensitive to any kind of interference. And if it's not smooth as glass, this is going to just remain quiet. So I told her we need to hold hands. We need to face north because we're the North Star. We're the way home. So let's begin there. And we need to do this in a circle. We need to be able to be that way when we're saying a certain thing. And let's get this thing done. And we start with thank you. And we actually faced west to start and said thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the wind whipped up. An old soul came out and warmed our faces. And it was abundantly clear that the wind was the breath of God. It was just abundantly clear. I'd gone out myself. I was out there myself. I oftentimes will escape to be outside just to get clear. And so I was standing on the grass and muttering and understanding that I was standing on very special ground, and I understood that we needed to consecrate it somehow. That was a great act, and it needed to be stitched, and we needed to do it, and we needed to help others with it, because I was running tremendous light at that point. And so we need to anchor it. And then when Hilsa came out, and I said, well, of course she would. I was still, she was over there doing something. And I said, okay, well, we got to do a ceremony. And so go ahead and, prepare your cone. And then we are going to do this. And take off all your jewelry, take off your shoes, take off your socks. And I went to remove my watch, and I saw it was 2:11, and I said, okay, well, we're going to be done by 2:22. And then I thought the numbers through. I said, you know what? No, it's 2:23. That's my birthday. I've already told my son I want to live to 2:23. I want to die on my 223rd birthday. It's a big deal for me. So we'll just let time skip, and it'll be complete at 2:23. So cool. The wristwatch went down. And so she did her thing, and I smoked probably. I smoked a lot. And then we got quiet, faced the west, said thank you, and the wind whipped, whip, 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 whip. I thought that maybe I was gonna. All I had to do was walk outside. It had been still, and it was like windy, and it was very purposeful wind, and they were talking to me during it. So anyway, we said thank you, and we faced north. And I said, it's because we're the North Star, and we blah, blah. We began. I know you. Whatever. I see you, I know you. I love you, thank you. And around we went, and it was very purposeful in what directions, what words were said. And the intention was not to just say the words. We were to feel it and know it, and to have it for for everything, and not just on earth. And so we did that, and then of course we had to change the orientation. We couldn't just do it one way. We had to do the counterspin too. So we had to work it out to make sure that everything lined up and set the space. We're still holding hands. Wind still whipping. And then, one by one, going in the opposite order, saying the precious words, and ending up, me at least, we ended it on the north. That's symmetry. But then we had started really with the west, so I faced west again. I like the Isaiah passage that I looked to the mountains from whom I get my help, or something like that. And I've done a few essays on mountains. I think they're very profound. So I just said thank you over and over and over again. But I did let Melissa know this is the time, especially when the love comes out. We've got to pour it on. We've got to change a few things. It's not working out, and these people need to understand a few things about their, just how much they're loved and stuff like that, what they're made of and all that. So we together as a complete but open circuit prayed these, And I was told it was the 13th null node. I don't know. Does that mean that's the null and there's a node somewhere, or that's the node and there's a null somewhere? Is it going to mess up her parties because there's an anomaly in her backyard? No, it's dormant. It's part of the grid, but it's a gift. And the reason that we could do all of that is because Melissa let me sit on her couch and reveal myself to her. And it was a lot about the meditations I've had. It's putting together a lot of visuals that were in process as my consciousness was coming online, as my memories were coming online. It has been said that, some of our memories are going to be really intense, and it's true. And I see that it's the well, we're not going to give away the farm. And let's not reveal that. And that's what's causing the break, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. And if there's anything I've learned the last couple of days, it's about the multidimensional nature of allowance and resistance. So understanding, I think now, that was a form of resistance, and perhaps not wholly appropriate, but subtle. So I want to address the transpositions that are occurring, just so you understand. Because I started and I didn't finish. And there may be other things that I start and don't finish. And I submit that's purposeful. I think they're dropping hints or helping me to just go only so far, and then to germinate a seed, and it comes to fruition and go on and on. That's what the writing's been too. There are themes, but there are progressions of themes, and that's wholly appropriate. So, but you can tell that I am not as multi-layered, as subtle, or frankly, as beautiful in my expression in the verbal word than I am in the written word, as me. And so there's a sameness of energetic signature, and there's obvious reasons why that is. But speaking is new to me, very new. I only started on Melissa's couch, and I told her to end that as we started, she was the one who volunteered to, I don't know, to, I guess, hold witness, but also to practice on. And it's been her who I have revealed bit by bit when I have been in deep meditation and having visions that are transfiguring. I would stop and I would write her. I can't do this without another human being. It's not possible. It's not fair. And so she shared all that. Why shouldn't she be the one who sees the final product and sees what I understand? For her to say, yeah, well, I already knew that, was actually pretty nice. It was actually the perfect response. Knowing full well that we are completely different expressions and hold different energies and hold different purposes. And had to. We're not supposed to be the same because there weren't that many of us, and we had to hold a lot, each of us. So it's kind of like that. So that's what I have to say about what happened. I will end now because I can about the night before. So I'm having dinner, and stunning. And I felt bad because I'd gotten up there so late, and she told me this morning, no, I expected to be a lot later than that. But I kept pushing and pushing because I needed to get that essay written, and it had to be perfect. It had to stand completely perfect as is, with no typos. And I believe there's one, it feels like there's one still, but it's minor, and it may not even be something I can notice. So I'm going to let it stand. It's just, it is by far, the seventh vow is the most beautiful thing that I've ever written. The thing that I'm most proud of, I think. There have been a lot of times when I've done an essay, I've done the spell check, I haven't edited and I haven't cared, and I've hit send, and then I read it, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever written. So I don't doubt that it'll keep going. But if that's what I get as a result of this, no sweat, I'll take it. It was worth it. It was better than a 3-week intensive writing seminar, I'll tell you that. And you can see the results. Just wow. Wow. And I have the experience now that I often had with some of my more profound meditations, and that is that I didn't write that. That's Paul sitting in a jail cell. Who knows he's going to be put to death, and is so filled with love for what he has become and what he has known, that he is singing a song that is completely etheric, and it is pouring out of his fingertips. What else can that be but channeling? What else can that be but channeling? Which is what they were showing me on the bed. Here's the gold ribbon, here's the purple ribbon. The gold one's the one you write. What does that imply? You know that we're right there. And what it meant was that I was channeling. I realized as I was having this meditation that really I need to write, but what am I going to write? Because it would be so easy to just speak as them and then go back and change all the pronouns. And it would frustrate me to no end because my essays were that. I knew that. And yet, amnesia. This lid, this lack of permission. I can see now that was my own stuff. And because I had this natural resistance of nope, you ain't getting that out of me. Nope. Oh, I'll shine pretty, but you ain't getting that out of me. Nope. Well, why wouldn't I have relationships that were either fractured or highly ambiguous or just, tragic? Why wouldn't I? It just makes sense. Her heart goes whoa, 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 because it was a reflection of the amount of resistance I had toward myself for very, very good reason. This was a biologic imperative, not only because if I had been spouting this stuff early, it wouldn't have been safe. I would have been seen as a psychotic. I can guarantee you. I worked in psych wards, I know. So I kept my trap shut. It takes a toll. So can you imagine when all of the capacitors or whatever are flipped open? I gave permission on that couch. I said yes. And this is what's been coming through. And what do you want? Well, I don't want any more amnesia, actually. The only reason I will be okay with amnesia is if it makes this a better ride. And it makes me go yee-haw more. Then, if I have a blind spot, then that's just fine. I will accept that blind spot. There are many people, and most of the people I'm in relationship with, I am not allowed to read their Akash, okay? Let me repeat that, friends, family, lovers, whatever. I'm not allowed to read it. Who do you think put that in place? Well, I did. Why? Because otherwise, A, it would be no fun, and B, it's none of my business. It's your stuff, it's not mine. But of course I didn't have my thing figured out, so I took on a lot of people's stuff and then went, oh look, I transfigured it for you. It's like I didn't ask you to. So I never did that, but it was tempting. And I would see struggle, and I just go, ugh. And I'd hang with it. And it was really great when I had the same kind of struggle, because then I had a mirror, and then I could really get some work done. Because the issues were the same. We were just kind of, and I can think of many relationships that were like that, where, and Enrique Boron, I love him. Oh, and he says one day in his seminar, he says, And I've written about this. It was just like a peak experience for me with this guy. And I just want to sing his praises tonight. Who is happily married, and that's just fine with me, dude. I just still think you're really cool. He says, all right, so somebody in the group says, we need to talk about this. Yeah, it sets the tone for what's coming up. Yeah, it has to do with, I realize it cracked that. We're talking cosmology and embryology within this discussion. And it just tickles me. So it tickles something, but it's not quite formed yet. It's talking about it sometimes helps. All right, so Enrique was saying, okay, here's the deal, guys. This is with biological decoding, which is the study of figuring out what conflict occurred to create your physical illness, right? The idea that strong, unmanaged, unlanguaged, emotional trauma, basically having to handle something that you're not prepared for, or something that is repugnant, or whatever, sets up what I'm thinking is a pulse. Pew! And then you see in the brain a little round circle, pew! And then it's like a target almost. It's called a Hamer, Hamer focus. This corresponds pristinely with portions of the body. And this is all coded. And it expresses its disease. And depending on what your issue is, it'll express that disease to satisfy the Hamer focus. And this is biological decoding, is going in and looking at the code. And so it's a study in genealogy, numerology, timing, intervals, fractals, quantum mechanics, relationships, wounding and healing, lots of stuff. Secrets, lots of secrets, lots of brutality, lots of violence. So I'm expecting that a lot of this is just going to become archaic science, and it can be elevated to its proper form with the removal of some of this nonsense. So here's the deal. We all walk around having an ache or pain, all right? All of us have scars. All of us have, facial features. All of us have blemishes. All of us have car accidents. It goes really deep and really wide. And it is interpersonal and intergenerational and everything. So, I think it was at the end. I think it was when I asked him to please be Grandpa and just tell me stories from the storybook after I'd had a very huge activating event that I didn't understand until about, a few hours ago. And all I wanted him to do was sing songs of home. I wanted Enrique to just sit on his stool and tell the little ghost stories of the home, of the quantum mechanics. Can I please have the quantum mechanics? I just had this big thing happen in the shower. Please, Grandpa. And the projector, and I knew very well, the projector was broken. It was just halted. It wouldn't work. And I couldn't stand the idea of looking at a projecting screen. It was too much. I just needed to hear a voice. And I knew the projector was going to crap out, and then they were going to tittle with it a little bit and go psh, 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 and not get too upset about it, and then just go, oh well, whatever. And Enrique would pick up a book and start talking, because I wanted that. Guess what happened? And I was told, yeah, well, once it's done, they're going to go over there and it's going to start right up, so don't worry about it. Just sit back and listen, Gally. And it was during that day, I think, somebody said, all right, so here's the deal. I have a question. So let's say I do all my genealogy, numerology, fractals, and all this stuff. I do all my homework, get all the numbers, and I lay it out. And what do I want to crack everything? Crack it wide open. Then what? Then what? Because Enrique had started the thing saying, love, there's no such thing as love. Love it. There's no such thing. What love is around here is that you bump into people and say, "Oh my God, your conflicts are just like mine. but they're pretty. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. Wanna? That's what love is. So at the end of it, it's like, okay, so what do we do? What happens after you crack all your codes? And he's so cute. Well, then you get to choose. So, Enrique, this is a question I have for you. I believe that it is, its foundation is in paradox, but that's a weak word for this. It's an interplay between energies, consciousnesses, forces. I think it has much deeper ramifications than probably either of us appreciate. And it's this. He told everybody, I think it was the first day, I'm not sure. Listen up, everybody. Here's the deal. You're not to go home tonight or after this study. And if you're pregnant, get with your partner, if that's appropriate, and say, hey, we can't lay on this kid all of our coding. He'll walk around a wreck. He's going to have a crap life. I did. I don't want him to have one too. And so the powerful man and the powerful woman stand and do what it's wonderful because the science includes, if you cannot find the missing piece, you don't have the confirmation, but you have no other choice but to understand that this is what has happened. You make a declaration, you declare it done, which is one of the very first things the teacher taught me, teachers. So, don't do this, is what he said. Word to the wise. You're pregnant, and you don't want to you don't want to head trip your kid. It's understandable. So you get together, you have prayers and all this. Get ready and say, fetus, baby, we don't want you to take on our coding. We recognize that as being really detrimental to you and somehow an insult, and you're perfect, and so we want you to come in without our biological coding, okay? You're free. You're free. You're free. Don't do that, because it's very, very, it's very powerful, and it demonstrates that you don't understand. He said there was such a couple. I hope I'm going to be not in trouble for saying this, but I think it's central to the question I have. There was a couple who did just that. They went home, and they made their declarations in holiness and respect for the child they were expecting, and almost immediately that child was stillborn. He didn't really answer why. Does that mean that this is a veil of tears? And that all that we have to do here is just go through a lesson? That's, I think, the first interpretation. I think there are extrapolations that go far beyond that. And I think that they involved, I think they do, they involve profound questions in cosmology. Not only that, but in molecular theory, electromagnetic theory, physics, and genetics. And it's in the genetics the soul is expressed. But this is my question. I'm kind of glad. It's kind of cute. Because I always have a koan going. And the thing is that I sat on Melissa's couch and I cracked my biggest koan. Those cracked it. I wasn't just kidding. I wasn't just whistling Dixie. Consider it done. I got it figured out. Bing, 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 bing. Poof. Tumblers all open. Green lights down that runway. I mean, how else do you want to say it? So, it's nice to have another koan. I don't really feel like writing it. I'm not interested. I would more prefer to have the dream start and the thinking start, if it's appropriate. The theory of validity is really pounding on me, and they're giving me a lot of information, and it seems more and more simple and easier to explain, is what I mean, which is really good. So I want it to keep cooking because I want it to be really accessible, really simple, because I need that. When I'm really confused, I need something that is just like, I used to do that. I had a page, it was like worn and tattered, and I'd pull it out when I was confused, and I would read the truth. Richard made me write it, the things that I would walk around with, and then on smoke breaks I would read, and I wouldn't listen to nonsense, and I wouldn't rumor monger. I would just read. It's not about that, it's about this. That was in the 80s. It was so important to get those core concepts down. So that's what I did. I studied and studied and applied, and got pretty far. Anyhow, that's my long video. I thought it was kind of cool. I've never really, I don't know. It was really nice. It just was like, yeah, okay. It was like, and I told her, so this is really cool, Melissa, because it's like this video I did when I'm talking about figuring out what planet I'm from. And by extension, kind of figuring out a whole crap ton. And I think that they were saying, what do you want to know? You want to know what planet you're from? Well, and what they said was, let's see. They said, damn, isn't that funny? Was it the voice that created the break? Well, the issue behind that is you want to know what planet you're from. Well, that's kind of nice. But if I told you and you're not ready, your hair's going to light on fire. If it's just some curiosity that you picked up on the blogosphere that's really good to know if you're like a Lyran or a whatever, then yeah, I could tell you. If I felt like it, if I felt like going that deep, to what end? Is that really permission, or is that just curiosity? That's tricky. Isn't the act of asking a question opening the gate? Can't I just be a font of information everywhere I go? Well, partly it's like, that's kind of a lot of work too. And it's not like I just go boop, boop, boop. No, I have to feel it. And I feel significances, and I feel context, and I feel relationships, and I feel a lot. And I think I'm going to start using and I'm heated up and sweating. They started out by telling me, you give 5%. Show us that you have intent. Show us that it matters to you. Show us that you're going to show up. Show us that it matters. Show us that you're taking it seriously. A little bit, because I was past exhaustion. A little bit. Give us 5%. Give us 1. We'll pick up the rest, but we got to know you're serious. And we'll know by what you do and your choices. What? Which I think is pretty cool. I think that is the idea behind permission. And I guess I want to close. I think for me, what it winds up to be is I'll clam up and not speak and not share anything more. If I see that what I've given is just falling on deaf ears, if I have to keep repeating the same thing, I mean, I get it. I'm a cumulative learner. but it's spice. It's got a fuel of, I'm working on this. I didn't get that. I didn't really get that. I need to have it repeated. I need to have it presented in a different way so I can really get it. I need to figure this out. And it's really just getting it from a lot of different perspectives just so I can make sure that I can take it to the bank. And it's not just me making it up. And it has to be objective and neutral. It can't be just, well, yeah, I feel that way too. It's got to be, no, you take it to the bank. And then if I have that, then, okay, then it's okay. So, yeah, there's a sense of futility or a sense of, I just really realized that it really has to do with will. It has to do with intention. Intention. How do I know what someone's intention is? Well, I don't know, but the only way that I can divine it, if I don't have access to an akash, is through behavior and words. But words with deeds. Now, words alone can be quite profound, and words alone can be a deed. So there's been a refinement to that I've had to understand. Understanding that energetics are indeed a reality. But I think that's what it comes down to is how much you're going to move the dial. How much does it really matter to you? And I think some of it just has to do with just needing it. I don't know. I'm playing with it. I'm not saying I'm going to withhold information. I think that's about the lowest form of control there is. I'm not going to tell you this so you don't get mad at me. Or I'm not going to tell you this so... I see that all the time. It just makes me crazy. What, really? You're that afraid of my emotions? You won't let me even have my feelings? I'm not somehow allowed to have a feeling if I'm told the complete truth? Well, if we're going to do that, then I'm going to bow out right now. If you think you need to manage my reality because my emotions might be not okay, then we're done before we start. Don't control me like that. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I mean, I've had a lot of relationships that have run into problems with that. The first one starting in 1985. Actually, the first one starting in about 1961. So it's a meditation on permission. How is it really divined? I think it has to do with will. I think it has to be coupled with will. And I like what Cryan says. This process is one that's begun with intention. Consider a fellow who is up on a very high cliff from which people dive into a deep pool, and they're safe. But once you jump, you can't unjump. And it is the act of the jump that is intention. And I think that is a very good way to think about it. He talks about, I can only give you this information because there's a group agreement that the probability is so strong that, as an act of honor, I thought I'd let you know, kind of thing. He did that with the Pope. He didn't give details, but he did talk of a change. He talked about a lot of things, and many of them have come to pass. And it's not prophecy, and it's not mind reading or whatever. It's just being able to see probabilities and see consciousness and figure out kind of where it's going, what it needs, and what it's going to do for itself. Understanding there are a lot of wild cards coming up. So, who knows? But the idea being, it's not walking up the hill toward the place where you jump. It's not having gotten into your swimsuit that morning. It's not having trained a lifetime. as a diver and a swimmer. It's about standing on that cliff and looking down and looking at your body and looking up and saying, holy crap. Well, I have this opportunity. And I know I'm going to be one thing now and one thing later. And in between, I'm in free fall. Am I willing? How deep is my intention? And it's stepping off, or jumping off, or springing off where you are. It's that act that is intention. Kind of feels like an electron pop, you know? I'm wondering if it might be also labeled will, divine will. I am. I don't know. But these things are going through my brain, so I'm very, very pleased I have a koan to crack. I'm very pleased to know I don't have to crack it tonight. And I am satisfied deep in my soul in a way that I haven't been since I started walking on this planet, this last time at least. I want to thank everyone who has followed along and everyone who's going to hook up later. I love you, and I hope that you can feel that. I hope that you know that it's never a question. You're loved.